Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. Uh, this is Saturday. I've got one day left to work and then I get to play some more Eve. Um, I am out in Null 6 still, and what I thought I would do today, I don't have a whole lot of time, and I wanted to just give an update on the Mauler that I just did a video with. It's a salvaged Mauler, salvaged parts that I put together while I was out here. As you can see, I got a decent number of guys in system, so I really can't go out and take it out to fly. I may jump back over to Hasatine once the video is over. And I haven't been over there in a little while, and need to get some blueprints up and running over there, do that sort of thing. And honestly, I haven't spent as much time as I had wanted to over there. I spent a lot of time getting set up over in KP Tech H over here, KP Tech F in Nullsec. Um, but that said, I can jabber on about other things. I did want to give you an update on the basic fit for um, the Mauler here, and then each day I might give you some updates as to where it's at. Um, let's just get that lowered here. So what I did yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, was I actually took a snip of the Mauler that I had. This was basically all scavenged parts, and you probably saw this the other day when I was building it. No rigs. Obviously, an open slot right here. I'm waiting till I get another uh, uh, heatsink for it. A lot of stuff that can be improved upon here. I don't even have all multispectral guns on here. But what this does is it gives me a base. And if I remember correctly, I barely had, I think, level 2 of medium lasers, and I think like level 2 of, there was something else that I had. Oh, level 2 of flying in a Mar Cruiser. So really a base level. Um, the two bonuses that the ship gives you is your damage. And if you're at cruiser level, a Mar Cruiser, it gives you a bonus of armor for of I think 4% per level of that, and then also gives you an increase in your damage. So I'll pull that over here and I'll just show you. It's weird to actually have a screenshot there. I'm always trying to pull up the wrong things. So in the last day, there's only been one upgrade that I've done so far, and that was I did get up to level 3 of energy turrets. Oh yeah, I did do the and I did get the Amar Cruiser up one. So what I thought I would do with this is just show you the comparison of the two and how your skill. And I haven't done anything else to the ship except for one thing. I did add on, just to throw it in there, I had a capacitor power relay in there to help boost the capacitor on it. I'm going to change that out with the heat sink down the road. This was just something that I had lying around. Wanted to see what it would do. If you want to see what it does, literally this is the old ship. My capacitor recharge is at 149 if I'm running all my modules. And then if I turn it back on, it goes up to 220. That's a big difference. And that is fully running all the time. So it's a better chance that I won't run out of capacitor. What does this do against? Just to show you here, it increases the capacitor recharge rate at the expense of shield boosting. So what you'd want to do is come over here, look at your shield boosting, and doesn't really change that there. So this might be rounded up. It's got 2 hit points per second. So yeah, maybe it affects the shield if I had a shield booster on here. Why don't I care about that? Because I don't care about the shield on the ship. It's armor tanked, so I'm not too worried about that. As far as the skills, remember I had the Amar level. What was it? The Amar cruiser and the medium guns go up to level 3s. So I've been able to raise my DPS from 163 to 168. And then also where is it here? Let's see if I can get it down here. My armor protection has actually gone up a little bit. Each area, it's gone up 2%, 1% there. Now the other ones, the kinetic and the explosive, went up significantly, but I'm not taking hardly any damage to those right now because I'm just using them against rats. So I'll just do an update on this each time, show you guys how it's doing, so you can show how skills affect things. And then when I get some rigs for it, I'll throw those in there. Major thing I'm looking for is I have been able to kill, it took me quite some time, but testing it out. I don't want to do a video on it. I was able to ping down a tyrant, a Sanchez tyrant, which was worth 1.8 million ISK. Literally took me like 20 minutes to kill it. I mean, it took me forever. But it tells me that, and that was at the 163 point. So it tells me you need at least 160 points of damage, DPS, to kill one of those. But I think that's the highest level, if not close to the highest level, battleship out here. So everything is a positive now. The other thing, and I'm going to try to put this in the, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the video. Got a great comment. I actually in the Five Bones chat yesterday was brought up to me. I got a great email from a guy saying that by watching the videos, he'd actually gotten to try going out to low sec and null sec for the first times. That is so awesome. It's exactly what the videos are for. And I think that's what I'm going to focus the rest of my videos for this on for quite a long time. I'm going to keep doing the wormhole thing for another 10 episodes or more, only using wormholes. But my main focus will be energizing players to play and play differently. I got another message from a guy in the comment section. He was a returnee who doesn't have a whole lot of time to play. Like I don't have a lot of time to play. And he said, I used to power game. Every game I played, my focus on this is just to have fun. And so what I thought I would, and I told him that, and we're on the same page because I don't have the 10 hours a day to actually put into it. Sometimes I feel like I do. I did do a scratch-off lottery ticket yesterday, hoping that I would win, and I can just play Eve all the time. Didn't win. But what I thought I would do is, and I'll spend more time in this in the future, is pull up the Dotland map. Because I think a lot of times people want to go out to null sec and low sec, but they don't know where to go. And then they die right away, and they're like, I'm not coming back out of here again. So what I thought I would do is do a very brief overview of 3 NPC nullsec areas that might be interesting for people to just fly out to and check out. And maybe I'll do a much longer video about this in the future. But I'm just going to pull up Dotland here. I'll do that there. Let's see here. So, long story short, there actually is a decent amount of NPC nullsec in this game if you want it to live. Why do I bring that up? And I'll use Stain where I'm at currently as an example. I'm testing out ships out here because I'm able to blow up the NPCs and melt them down to make cruisers and things like that to try out, like I'm doing with the Mauler right now. And a lot of new players or returning players are either afraid to go out to areas like this or don't even know how to get out there. So I may focus on that in the future. But give you an example. I'm in Stain right now, and if you go back and watch the videos, I did a series a while back of living as an alpha in low and high sec at the beginning of the year. I did 100 days of that and did kind of a wrap up that on time. And what I did was I actually found my way out to Stain and lived in this area right here. How was I able to live? Well, you notice you've got a bunch of NPC stations here. and I was able to use these for production. And I found a nice area in the middle here that I could live like I am right now with my test station, um, to get a feel for what it's like out here. And I was able to do it as an alpha and have a lot of fun. I found more fun recently. I'm back out here with a new character, Amanda Rose. But doing the wormhole thing, I luckily just ran into this area again, and it gave me that NPC null area that tests stuff out versus having the low sec area. So I can bounce between the two now, which is different from the 100 days where I got done with the 100 days and I started to run out of things to try out. This has given me a lot more options. Um, and so what I thought I'd do is I'd talk about. So I'm going to talk about three major regions that if you want to try to go out of NPC space, I'm going to briefly go over them here. I'll give you a heads up, and then maybe I'll go in a lot more in depth. Now, I am not an expert, but just have been being here and looking at the topography. I can give you guys some ideas on it. And then I'll tell you why I didn't go to other areas really briefly. So if you notice here, number one, the thing I look for is stations that I can build stuff in. This is Stain, and there's obviously production. Um, and what I ended up doing was coming through Salmoneer and working my way down this way. You always have to be safe in this area. There are a lot of gate campers here. Anywhere that there are long routes to go through, there's a good chance there might be a gate camper, so you have to be very careful on that. But I like this out here. There are pockets that you want to be careful of. My assumption every time I see a dead end area or a pocket area that has some sort of production, there's probably going to be an alliance or a corporation that hangs out there. It seems counterproductive, but I actually go to the areas that have more traffic going through them because it's tougher for those alliances to hold those areas. So I did fly down here at one point, and they had a corporation or alliance had bubbled this area. If I remember correctly, I went over this way, and a corporation had bubbled this area. But I was able to actually live all around this area, and I have to say, up here, it seemed like there was less killing going on. Now, once I got past this spot, not so much. I did not spend a whole lot of time up here. Why? Because it was a lot tougher to get there. I got down to about this area here, and I think I ended up dying right over here at some point. So I wasn't able to really check out this down here. Maybe I did go down here once. But I didn't really want to take the chance of going through here just yet because of that long stretch of possible death. So that's Stain, and that is just a general overview of what I look for. I'm not going to spend as much time on the other two areas that you might want to look at, but to just give you an idea of what you can look for. Oh, and right in the middle here, obviously there's one jump in area, and I was there a couple of times, and it looked like that was pretty populated by a certain group of people, a certain alliance. Now this was a couple months ago. Could be different. Always cool to grab an exploration ship and fly through. Or you can do the wormhole thing that I'm doing right now and just pop in and scare the bejesus out of people for about half a second. So that's Stain. It's down here. Why is it a little bit tougher to get to? It used to be very tough because you had to go through regular nullsec, but right now you can actually get to it through lowsec. They added that gate on sometime last year, I think. So that's why I was able to get in here a lot easier. There's two other NPC null areas. Oh, I'm sorry, last but not least, with Stain, I'll just show you here. If you notice, it is all NPC null sec. There is no high sec, there is no low sec, there is no regular null sec. This is all NPC null sec, so I don't have to worry about people owning an area, that sort of thing. So the two other areas I look at are Syndicate and the Great Wildlands. Because, and I might be missing one here, these are the other two regions that have all NPC nullsec. There is not low sec or high sec or anything like that. It is all just that. But they have their definite differences. Stain, you're fighting the Sancha, who drop heat weapons or laser weapons. Syndicate up here, I think you're fighting against guys who use hybrid weapons, whether they be Calente or the pirates use hybrid weapons. And then out here, the pirates drop um, the projectile weapons, the Minotaur weapons. Um, Talking too much. Now, you may say, well, there's other NPC null areas, and I agree. I think even Curse down here is a fully fledged NPC nullsec area. I just want to take a quick look. Good. Yeah. Curse is a fully fledged NPC nullsec area. The only thing I have to say about that is I haven't spent a whole lot of time because this seems to be, if you want to go get blown up, seems to be a hotbed for action, and I can understand why, because it's a smaller area. It looks like it all comes together kind of at this one junction point. I did, when I lived in the Great Wildlands, I did come down here and checked out these areas, and each area has their own little spot here that can be defended a little bit. I think the big boys, the big groups, like to hang out here a lot. Maybe that'll be down the road. So, but right next to it is the Great Wildlands, so you got to jump right there. The other ones here, if you look at like Delve, you're not going to go to Delve because that's where the Goon Swarm lives, if I remember correctly. And you notice it's only a small area here. The rest of this is NPC regular, owned by, Condi is the Goon Swarm. You can live here, but I don't know if they'd allow you to. I haven't pushed it. Then if you come up here to Venal, you've got, this is Garistas. Oh, that's why I didn't come up here. So there are some, and I didn't know that. Your mind gets blown a little bit. Well, I haven't checked that out. Maybe I will. This is all NPC nullsec, but if you notice, there's a lot less stations. See? There's only a couple of NPC nullsec stations. The rest of it is probably heavily populated by corporations and alliances. You don't have any dock-up points here that are safe spots. So to try to live out here, you can come here, but try to live out here without any help would be pretty tough. And then you've got like Geminite here. They've got just a small area. And down here you've got, there was another one I thought. Oh, the Outer Ring, I've never really spent a whole lot of time in there. Again, it's a very small area. You've got a couple of stations here. But let me just back out. I'm going to get back on track here. I want to talk about the two areas that I think are semi-helpful. If you really want to try it out. The other one that I lived in a while back was Syndicate. Syndicate is very similar to Stain. As you notice, it is a larger system. And it's got a lot of stations, a lot of things to do. Now there are pockets. If you notice, here's a pocket right here. There's a pocket here. I think that's where Eve University is. I think that's where they've held up right there. And there's other pockets here. I want to say two areas that I always really liked was, well, actually one major area is this area right here. If you notice, there's a lot of stations all over the place here, but there's a lot of connections. So you can fly anywhere you want to here. Now, could you get gate camped? Yes, you have to be careful there. But if you want to take that next step up and try to live in a dangerous area, this is a pretty cool area. There's a lot of action going on here. The other really nice thing about this is it is so quick to get to. There's so many ways to get in and out of. Give you an example. We'll go up here. If somebody were to try to come into Stain, into Syndicate, they can come directly from HighSec. Now, is there a chance that this gate will be camped? Yes, there is. There's another one here for Cloud Ring. Over here, Outer Ring. Down here, you can come in from Solitude. Solitude. I will say this, I found the most luck, and I'm probably jinxing myself. I'm not going through here anytime soon, so you can't gate camp me. Harul, right here, seem to be the best way for me to get through. Now, I did some videos a while back. If you want to, sometimes the scariest part about going into a new low sec or NPC null sec region is the initial jump in. Um, the thing I liked about Hyrule here was you just had to worry about this one gate. Because once you got in, I'm sorry, this gate here. Because once you got into here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps out of the system. So you can kind of get in, get out, and then get moving. And this is a good area. This or Stain, I suggest, are good areas if you ever want to try out NPC null, if you're doing it by yourself like I do. The last one, and I found this one to be the safest way to go, but the weirdest one to go to, was the Great Wildlands. And I'll give you a little hint that might be helpful if it is still there. The first thing when you look at the Great Wildlands is obvious. There's a lot of long runs. There's a lot of pockets, but no real stations. It's got 3 NPC stations up here. That's it. The only other thing that's here is Thucker Tribe is here, and you can do pre-production there. Not now. The positive to this is this whole area is not populated very much, and there's a reason for that. You know how I'd like to live out of asteroid belts? This area here, it doesn't have any asteroid belts, if I remember correctly. You have to kill, if you're going to kill rats, you have to either kill them in anomalies, or you have to kill them in on stations. You can't just go like I normally do through whatchamacallit, going through the asteroid belt run that I normally do. So you're a little limited there. It is a big change if you're used to doing that. I will say this. I actually liked living out here because I found something, and I would suggest you do this anytime you can. When I first got here, I went for a run, flying around to check things out. And I hope they're still there. There is a player station in, I think it's F8K here, and also another one in NTAC 6. So these 2 areas here, you can actually dock up in without trying to be somebody trying to kill you. If they're still there, I'd have to fly out and check. You can dock up here. You can do some research and stuff. What I ended up doing was putting most of my blueprints here. I was only there for a couple months, but I put my blueprints here. Then I would make a copy of what I needed and go down to the player-controlled stations here. This is a great area if somebody wanted to start off their own corporation, I think. But in general, I would come through Eppinger. You have to be careful. I found, ironically, the jump from Eppinger to BTAC V, I never really got attacked at. But there was always like a guy here in 9 SNK who was, not always, but if there was a guy, he would be in here trying to kill me, or in 6WT. And I learned so much living out here and for the short period of time I did about travel. If you use your autopilot and how it maps out, like let's say I said I wanted to go from Eppinger to EO2, it would give me a route that went this way, down through 6WT, SLY, and the guys would actually gate camp right here. And I think the reason why they did that was they were looking for people who were trying to just put that direction stuff in. Because a lot of times I would come in through Eppinger, I'd get to 9 SNK, I'd use my maps and my history to see, and there'd be like 2 guys sitting in here, and I would just go around them. And I learned so much about getting around different areas. And if you want to check out those videos that are a while back, I might go back to doing some of those a little bit if I do start flying out here a little bit more. But yeah, I didn't have so that's about that. I just want to do a brief overview of those 3 areas. If you want to try out NPC nullsec, you can. Obviously, lowsec has their areas. I don't know as much about those. The last half year, I spent a lot of time in NPC null. And I'm learning more about low. I want to start doing more of this where I can promote different play styles, try different things out. I'm I not I realized today with I love the trying out different ships, but I don't want to get into the rut of just building more DPS and blowing stuff up in every episode. I think part of what I want to do is still keep that exploration part of me out. So I'm going to do that. But trying to figure out what I want to do for the future to keep things fresh because it keeps my mind going. All right. That's that. I actually do have to get ready for work, get running in. Actually, I'm running a little bit behind. I hope you guys have a great day. I should be playing a lot more tomorrow. Thanks so much for your comments and the emails. I honestly have not been able to reply to all of them just yet. I usually catch up on them on Sundays. You guys gave me some great ideas for videos too, so I'll go ahead and do that. I will talk to you soon. Fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however you want, and I'll have a good one. Bye-bye.